Before this video begins, I'd like to say thank you to my patron, the Beast Boss. Links to join the Patreon can be found in the description down below. We might finally know when Doctor Who Season 2 is airing. Let's talk about that. Okay, so whilst my laptop was not working properly, I did a quick little breaking news kind of podcast episode thing the other day, quickly discussing why we think Doctor Who Season 2 might be airing on 3 particular dates, or why we think these 3 particular dates in April might be the premiere of Doctor Who Season 2. But I've since had some new information from one of the comments on that video that reminded me of a detail we'd previously heard about Doctor Who Season 2, which could indicate a more specific release date, one release date in particular, out of the 3 that I'd previously spoken about. So that's what I'm going to be going over in this video, and I'm also going to be recapping the initial reason why we think these release dates are accurate, or why we think it's going to be premiering on these dates. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the initial reason we had these particular dates in mind, these 3 dates that I'd previously talked about, is because of a post and a newsletter from one of the writers that has been recently announced to be writing for Doctor Who Season 2, and that is Anua Ellams, who I believe is writing episode 5, if I remember correctly. So he recently did an Instagram post which doesn't explicitly mention any particular dates of when Doctor Who Season 2 could be airing, but there is something related to this Instagram post that does give us an idea as to when Doctor Who Season 2 could be airing. And there's another key detail separate from this that could also give us an indication of an even more specific date of when Doctor Who Season 2 could be airing. So I'm going to start this off with the Instagram post from Anua Ellams. So the Instagram post is a picture of him on the TARDIS set, presumably at some point during filming of Doctor Who Season 2, and the post reads, "So I still can't believe RTD, Bad Wolf and BBC allow the Nigerian into the TARDIS. I wanted to do a heap of silly things. Travel back in time and copy the blueprints for the pyramids, rewrite Ghana's constitution in Nigeria's favour, or just give Henrietta Lacks a hug. But I had to be responsible. You'll have to wait to see what I actually did. Thanks for all the messages and love you all showed. Really overwhelmed and humbled. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to organise a crossover poetry event or something. Watch this space. I've always loved the show. I've been watching since I was 10. It's about a displaced refugee from a war-torn planet who arrives on Earth with a screwdriver, not a gun or a shield, calls himself the Doctor, like so many good immigrants I know. A title that's fundamentally about alleviating pain and suffering. His main superpower is empathy. The Doctor feels so much he needs and has 2 hearts just to process everything, and there are 15 versions of him. To quote Walt Whitman, the Doctor contains multitudes. He has always been they, always been so inclusive and welcoming. You know what, I'm gonna rewatch the Christmas special, Joy to the World. I was so moved by it, a perfect blend of action and emotional depth. And this last part coming up, just after he signs off, is the key part of why we think we know, roughly, when Doctor Who Season 2 is going to be starting to air. He finishes this off with, "P.S. My newsletter is out today, Feb 5th, in a few hours. Sign up at anuaellams.com if you want to get it." And so obviously this Instagram post itself doesn't tell us anything in particular about when Doctor Who Season 2 is going to start airing, but it's this newsletter that he advertises at the end of this Instagram post that gives us an indication as to when Doctor Who Season 2 could start airing. So the newsletter reads, finally, news dropped last Monday about the hardest secret I've ever had to keep, that I wrote an episode of the upcoming series of Doctor Who. Guys, I've been watching this show since I was 10 years old in Nigeria, for 30 years. Getting to write an ep was several of my wildest fantasies come true. There is so much more I wish I could tell you right now, but I've signed NDAs so vast they blanket the universe and exist in the past, present and future. I have to stay stum. The new series drops in April and May. Until then, you'll have to just enjoy this picture of your boy in the TARDIS." So obviously it's that last part of this newsletter entry that gives us an indication as to when Doctor Who Season 2 could be airing, as he mentions that the new series drops in April and May. So this release window means that the dates that the series could begin airing are the 5th of April, the 12th of April, or the 19th of April. And the reason it can't be the last Saturday of April is because that means that it will go into June. And as he says here, he just says April and May. So we assume that it's going to finish in May and not go all the way through to June. So those 3 dates is where I got up to in the last video I did talking about this. But we now have another key detail that's been brought up to me in the comments of a video of something that we've actually heard about before, but I didn't really think about it when speculating as to when Doctor Who Season 2 could be airing in relation to this announcement from Anua Ellams. So the comment that reminded me of a key detail that we'd heard about in the past that could give us a more detailed indication as to when Doctor Who Season 2 could be airing is from Friendly Otaku, who is somebody who's commented on a few of my videos in the past, so thanks for this comment. But this comment reads, "I think the series will start on April 12th. My reasoning for this is that there are rumours about what episode 6, Juno Dawson's episode, is about, and I think that episode will air on May 17th to tie in with a certain event that relates to the episode itself." So before I get into what this is all about, because it did remind me of something that I had heard about before. I do want to give a slight potential spoiler warning before I get into this, as it does come from maybe a sort of leak as to what one of the episodes could be about, specifically episode 6 written by Juno Dawson, or what we assume is written by Juno Dawson. And so if you don't want any potential spoilers as to what this episode could be about, then I suggest you click off this video now, with the knowledge that Doctor Who Season 2 will potentially start airing on April 12th. So the reason as to why we think we now know when Doctor Who Season 2 will begin airing is because it's been speculated for a while now, I think from a potential leak or just from some filming that's been spotted, that episode 6 of Doctor Who Season 2, the episode that we think is going to be written by Juno Dawson, will potentially take place in some sort of futuristic or outer space version of Eurovision, which is a song contest that takes place every year. And it's assumed that this episode is going to broadcast the same night as the Eurovision Song Contest final, which takes place on Saturday the 17th of May, which suggests that because of the episode count of Doctor Who Season 2, and assuming that we have a 2-episode premiere like last year, which I think is very likely, Doctor Who Season 2 will have to premiere on April 12th for episode 6 to coincide with that date. Now, I guess it's also entirely possible that it airs the week before that if we don't have a 2-episode premiere, but I do think April 12th is the most likely option there, as I do think it's more than likely going to be a 2-episode premiere like last year, and I think this episode is very likely to broadcast on the same day as the Eurovision Song Contest final, if the rumours about that episode are true. But that's why we think Doctor Who Season 2 may start airing on April 12th. Let me know what you think about this theory in the comments down below. And with all that being said, thanks for watching.